important day of the week. It's the Phil and What's His Name show. They talk sports, they argue back and forth. It's the Phil and What's His Name show. Beat the genius. Nobody can beat the genius. 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 The most important day of the week. It's the Phil and What's His Name show. They talk sports, they argue back and forth. It's the Phil and What's His Name show. Beat the genius. Nobody can beat the genius. 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 Phil and Colton talking sports, football, baseball, hockey too. It's the Phil and What's His Name show. It's the podcast we all adore. Phil and his sidekick talking sports. It's the Phil and What's His Name show. The Phil and What's His Name show.
Oh, what is up, folks? It is Colton Gesser and Phil Smith here, live back for another episode of the Personal Foul Podcast. I want to shout out Karen for making that video for us. I got to get it better. It snuck by me. I think he made it 2 weeks ago, but big shout out to Karen Warren for, again, making that for us. I missed it a few weeks back, so shame on me for not getting it up there for him, but I appreciate him making that for us. But Phil, how the hell are you, sir?
Fantastic. How can you not be when you go into an intro like that? Beat the genius. Oh, I just want to bang my head all day. Beat the genius. That's right, because nobody can beat the genius. That's right. The genius is on a roll.
It's a shame that you suck, Phil, but I guess we'll save that for another day. But
No.
we have an updated standings when we do get there as far as Beat the Genius goes. I went out, did the legwork. Just kidding. I really didn't do much. But we do have an updated standings with the 5 people that are actually involved into the season. Shame on you folks, because you kind of got a 30-pack from Phil Sitta. But again, to each his own. So we'll have an updated standings before we start Beat the Genius a little bit later. Again, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Follow us on the tickers below. Follow us on Facebook at Personal Foul Podcast. Excuse me, I was confused the two. Personal Foul Podcast on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube and subscribe and like our show at Personal Foul Podcast. So again, make sure you check that out. All the tickers below. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. But we are back for another episode of the Personal Foul Podcast. Phil had a busy week in the NFL. We started off with Thursday Night Football with the game that I picked. I'm not a homer of my Steelers. I just knew, Phil, that they were going to come up short after a big game against the Ravens, and they did indeed look short. But I think you have a special guest that you want to tune into first.
I do. I have a very special guest. We're going to get into Schittsburg in a second. But first off, I want to focus on our newest member of the family here. This is my grand dog, Theo, who just rolled over and played dead. Can you do that again for me, JoJo? Look at that. He rolls over and plays dead. Do you know how I taught him how to do that? I had him watch the Pittsburgh Steelers game. That's how. Because whoever watches Pittsburgh just rolls over and plays dead. That's right. Say bye-bye, Theo.
Last time I checked, Phil.
He is a cute dog. He's cute just like his grandfather. That's right. But you can't beat the genius either. That's right.
Oh, God, this show's a shit show. But yes, wonderful dog. It's a shame that, JoJo's his father. It's unfortunate for the dog.
You couldn't do half the things I do with this damn dog.
Oh, we have no time for this nonsense right now. You can go on YouTube and leave comments and tell your friends to get on too. Damn it! Like us. Why is it so hard to hit the like button, people? Come on.
Oh God, we're off to a running start with this show this week, I say. So yes, we are indeed live on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. But again, we'll get right into it. We'll talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers losing Thursday Night Football to start off the week against the Cleveland Browns in the Browns Super Bowl in the Myles Garrett show Thursday night. 3 sacks, a forced fumble. Myles Garrett put a stamp on that game Thursday night. Brown Super Bowl, I got to tell you. And I picked it, by the way. I'm not a homer. I know my team very well. I knew they were losing that game. Phil, your thoughts?
You said the Myles Garrett game. What was more surprising was the no-show by TJ Watt. You know, you talking about him being Defensive Player of the Year. And yes, Kenny Warren, that was a hell of a theme song. I think you missed Colton here thanking you about what a great song that was in the beginning. Yes, we did miss TJ Watt. I needed him desperately in a defensive league, and he no-showed for me this week. The Steelers will go the way their defense goes. That's just painfully obvious this year. George Pickens he looked like he didn't have a clue in that game. Where the hell was his head, especially on that last play of the game? He's out there fighting in the end zone instead of trying to catch a Hail Mary. That was an absolute joke.
Are you surprised?
No, not at all.
I'm
Wilson
not.
did play well.
He's a mental. You know what? He's a South Polo mentally is what he is. He's way too soft.
Yeah.
He can get in his head very easily. He's a top 12 receiver in football. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, he is.
How gifted he is, but you can easily get in his head. We saw it against Dallas as they lost that game. He rips Jordan Lewis's face mask. The situation with Grant Delpit at the end of the Browns game Thursday night. It's the George Pickens show. It's what it is. It's a George Pickens experience, as I like to tell people that every time they see something. Oh, you see George Pickens? Yes, I see it like almost every week. He's doing something.
And it was a bad job on his part. I'm not saying he cost Pittsburgh the game because, they were pretty much getting beaten. They made a nice comeback. They did take the lead, but the defense failed them. That's the bottom line. Patrick Queen had a decent game, but he didn't have his typical, stellar all-pro game. And when you don't have that and TJ Watt not showing up, that makes for a bad defense. And, Chubb, I don't think he had a lot of yards, but he had tough yards. I think he had 59 yards rushing, but he had tough yards. He did get the 2 touchdowns. Winston didn't play that great. Granted, it snowed in the second half, but Wilson put up much better numbers. Wilson wasn't affected by the snow. That's a game Pittsburgh should have won. For me to take Pittsburgh seriously, that's a game they got to win. They didn't get the job done, and that's why. Yeah, all right, you're going to go win a division, which I think is in jeopardy now. I still think Baltimore is going to somehow come back and pull it out of their ass for that division. But Pittsburgh just didn't do a good job, and that's a game you got to win. If that was Miami losing to the Browns, I'd be furious, snapping right now. But it's Pittsburgh. They've had some wins that they shouldn't have had this year. They're winning games that only field goals, so I'll give them a pass. But you did call this one. I got to give you this one. Once in a blue moon, you hit it. You're not a genius like me, which is correct on just about everything. But I'll give you this one, Colton. Good job. You saw this one coming. You smelled trap, and away we go with the trap game. Who does Pittsburgh have next?
Cincinnati in Cincinnati this week.
Oh, brutal game. Brutal game that's going to be. They're coming off a bye.
They are indeed. I think the Steelers also have a good resume bouncing back after division losses under Mike Tomlin, so I think the Steelers are going to be all right. But, again, speaking of trap games, again, this is where I'll give Tomlin his credit. He's not the only one getting embarrassed by teams that stink, and that'd be the Commanders coming down to earth here, it seems like the last few weeks, losing to the god-awful Dallas Cowboys, an awful special team showing from the Washington Commanders. They lose at home 34-26 to the Cowboys. Again, they weren't alone with losing this week, but we'll touch on this one first. Your thoughts?
The luster has come off of Washington. That the star of Dallas shone while the shine of Washington just eroded after that loss. I can't take Washington seriously after a horrendous loss like that. You miss an extra. You come back after getting humiliated for 3 quarters. And by the way, the unders. The people who bet the unders were absolutely sick. Through 3 quarters, they had the under by a mile, and then they yelled. It was 24-17 in the 4th quarter. All those points scored. That was funny as hell. But you can't take Washington seriously. You miss an extra point. You allow the kickoff return on that. It was just bad coaching. It was bad playing. It was absolutely atrocious by Washington. Daniels wasn't that good. What was he? 25 for 38, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions against a terrible Dallas defense. atrocious. I mean, McLaurin was the only thing that saved them. I mean, you want to say, oh yeah, Brian Robinson got hurt in the first quarter? No, I'm not giving Washington a pass for that. No way. Dallas stinks, and they looked so good against Washington. Terrible. And by the way,
there's a lot
get
of
an extension now out of this.
there was a lot of division teams that delivered the goods that stink this week, and that would be the other team. That'd be the Houston Texans. I got to tell you, C.J. Stroud, sophomore slump boy, he does not look good as they lose to the awful, and I mean awful, Will Levis, Tennessee Titans. It's division
Who
week.
would you rather have right now, Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud?
I mean, I'd rather C.J. Stroud what I've seen over his career overall, but like you were all poking jokes at me in the auction, like, oh, you want to sell off Bryce Young so bad. Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo!
He's played well.
Bryce Young, baby.
He's played well. Where'd you do it, Young, by the way? You still have him?
Of course I still have Bryce Young.
Oh, rotten on your bench. Bum.
Starting. I traded you Brock Purdy. You forget.
Good for you. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did do that. Good for you. That's why you're in second place.
Oh, because I'm the genius and you're not.
No.
You set yourself up, you son of a bitch.
How dare you? How dare you steal my line?
You set yourself up. Oh, boy, I might clip that for myself. You jackass.
You should. But yeah, Stroud has been complete ass. 20 for 33, 212 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. Mixon was non-existent in the game. That's what surprised me. 14 carries for 22 yards. I mean, I know Tennessee's hard to run against. You know, as bad as they are, they still have a very good run defense. Will Levis played well, 18 for 24, 278, 2 touchdowns. Pollard actually played well too, 24 carries, 119 yards. Tennessee, like, I don't understand why they're so bad, but they are. I mean, I don't know, maybe growing pains from Levis. And bad job by the Texans. They take the lead, and then Okonkwo takes that 70-yard touchdown run. A tight end does that to you? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Bad job by Texans. I can't take them seriously either.
Yeah, I think they're starting to get a reality check too. And they got Nico Collins back too. So it was like, okay, like what are we doing here, Houston? So I do think Houston has a problem. So we'll see if D'Amico Ryan can figure out the ship there, because they have a problem. And speaking of problems, God, this team sucks. And it was kind of funny. I know he made fun of a backup quarterback. I enjoyed seeing Baker Mayfield do the old, give me a little some of that Tommy Cutler. They annihilate the Giants. God almighty. They are in tank mode for Shador Sanders or Cam Ward, and they need one of them. And I think Cam Ward's probably the best quarterback in the draft. I don't know if Sanders is going to excel at the next level, but we'll stay on the present. And this team sucks. 30-7 whooping at the AC unit of the NFL.
I mean, DeVito is trash. There's no 2 ways about it. If I'm the Giants, and I told your uncle this the other day, if I'm the Giants, I draft my first 5 picks are an offensive line. I would just draft unless there's a really good pass rusher there somewhere, but draft O-line. Tank one more year, and then get the protege, Mr. Manning. And then the Giants are going to be good for the next 15 years. That's what I would do. I'm sure Giant fans are too impatient to do something like that. And we'll draft Cam Ward again with no offensive line again, as usual. But look what Detroit did. They built an offensive line, and then they traded for Goff. And, they built all around. I would do that if I'm the Giants. I would draft an O-line this year and then wait for Manning. I love Cam Ward, but I think he'll stink with the Giants. There's no line there.
Yeah, I agree. I think I thought the Steelers should have did the same thing after Ben retired. Instead, they rushed into Kenny Pickett, and look who's not on the roster now.
Exactly.
It's hard because you want to win in the NFL. So the Giants have been god-awful for so long. Like, are they going to really sign up for a full-blown tank again? They're not. Like, there's no tanking in the NFL, really. You can try to switch moves and quarterbacks to make your team worse, which they did with putting Tommy DeVito in over Daniel Jones. I don't know. I think Daboll's and Shane's jobs are on the line, so I think they're going to take Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. But I agree. I would build up the offensive line, and again, the problem is you have guys competing for their livelihoods and roster spots, so the guys aren't going to tank. So,
yeah, I get it, but they should. I mean, Miami should have years ago. They'd have Joe Burrow right now.
Yeah,
But
I mean, the Jets. I think Trevor Lawrence sucks, but the Jets could have did it with Trevor Lawrence too, and they decided to win a football game that they didn't need. So,
and look at them now.
Huh?
And look at the Jets now.
Oh gosh.
By the way, speaking of which, Aaron Rodgers talking about retirement today on the Pat McAfee show, which he
said he doesn't know what he's doing. He said he doesn't. The Jets haven't really asked him yet. I don't know. I like to ignore the Jets in the bye week if I could, because why am I?
At least they didn't lose this week.
Yes, I think it's a successful week for the Jets. And speaking of successful weeks, that'd be for your Miami Dolphins as they annihilate, almost backdoored the Patriots here. Patriots almost snuck their way back into it. 34-15 final. The floor is yours on your Fins.
It wasn't an impressive win. I mean, Tua played well. It's the Patriots. I'm not going to get all giddy about it. It's like, oh, yeah, we beat the Patriots. Big deal. You should go out there and beat them. New England did make a little comeback in the late third, early fourth, which made me kind of nervous. But that's what Miami does. They can't hammer home a win. They have to, screw around and, make things nervous. It was nice seeing Waddle be used this week. Of course, I finally benched him in all my leagues because I couldn't take the 3 points every week from him anymore. And yes, Kenny, I do agree with you. Tua is the MVP of the league. He is the most valuable player to the Dolphins. That's for damn sure. I mean, MVP of the league, I still say it's Derrick Henry because Baltimore's nothing without Henry. But Tua, as much as I killed him, he's night and day with that team. They did pick up Dodson from Seattle. I don't understand why Seattle cut him, but that's Miami's game. And he actually played well. He got an interception toward the end of the game. He picked off May, which was nice. I mean, they're in Green Bay this week. They're going to get slaughtered. It's going to be an ugly game Thursday night. It's supposed to be cold and nasty. Miami doesn't play well in the. I don't know if it's going to snow, but they don't play well in the cold. Green Bay has been playing well. I mean, if I had balls, I would take the Packers this week, but I can't do it. I can't take my own team because I will root for them no matter what. I can't take the Dolphins seriously. I just can't. When you lose to Indianapolis and you lose to Arizona the way they did, they're still 5-7. They're 2 games behind Denver, who are playing really well right now. They're clicking on all stuff. Bo Nix, probably the best player in this draft. They have, they're going to be an 8-9 team and get a mid-first round pick and blow it. Although Chop Robinson finally played well this week. He got a sack and a half.
They're one game off of being 500. I hope you're aware of that.
The what?
They're 1 game out of being 500, the Dolphins.
Aren't they 5-7?
They're 5-6.
Oh, the 5-6.
What a big fan you are.
They're 5-6. So they're a game and a half behind Denver.
Yeah, what a big fan you are, not even knowing your team's still.
Oh, stop. I'm off a half a game. Big deal. Leave it to you to make such a big production out of it.
Hey, man, I'm the genius. I'm the genius. You're not. You're the sideshow, as Kenny Warren would say on his intro. Speaking of the Green Bay Packers, this guy just spit up your water. This is great. Packers take care of the beat up 49ers. No Nick Bosa, no Brock Purdy. 38-10, the Josh Jacobs show. He steamrolls the 49ers defense. That Niners defense doesn't look the same without Robert Saleh on the sideline. I got to tell you, their defense has not been remotely close to the same defense the last few years.
They have definitely gotten older, without a doubt. Hufanga's not there, which hurts, because I think he's the heart and soul of that defense. And it just seems like whenever he's out, that defense plays like crapola. I mean, granted, you had Allen in there as your backup quarterback. What was he? He threw for 199 yards and a touchdown. CMC was the problem. I mean, 11 carries, 31 yards. They didn't open up any holes for him. When the hell did Green Bay become such a good run-stop defense? They didn't stop Kittle, though. He had 6 for 82. I mean, San Francisco's been destroyed with injuries this year. I can't, kill them. I'm surprised. What are they, 5-6? I'm surprised they are where they are despite all these injuries. I mean, that's a testament to Shanahan. I got to give him a little bit of credit there because most teams only have 2 or 3 wins by now. When you lose the talent that they have, I mean, they've lost Debo. They've lost the bum who cried in the beginning of the year. What's his name?
Ayuk.
See, I forgot about him already. That's how useless he is. I mean, Kittle's missed a couple games. Bosa, now you got Purdy out. I mean, it's just, Trent Williams. I mean, it's been a nightmare season for San
Oh,
Francisco.
boo-hoo, San Fran, boo-hoo. I could care less. I don't care. Cry like a bunch of babies by your injuries. Been there, done that. I don't want to hear it.
As for Green Bay, I hope the hell Miami kicks the hell out of Green Bay this week, Jim Sloan. Stick it up your ass. Go ahead.
We'll move on to the number one team in football, and that'd be the Detroit Lions. They take care of business of the Indianapolis Colts. Game was close early. Banged up players in that game as well for the Lions. I know Montgomery left, came back later on in the game, but it was the Jahmyr Gibbs show. Lions take care of the Colts 24-6. Any thoughts on the game?
You'd probably be talking about Gibbs as an MVP if he didn't have Montgomery stealing all his carries. This guy is incredible. I mean, he's fast. He's strong. He can get that tough yard when you need to. He catches the ball out of the backfield. I mean, he's electric. He's an amazing player. But, they use him. They use them perfectly there. So Montgomery's hurt. Gibbs should have a big game against the Bears. Like I've been saying, Detroit's the best team in football. Sorry, Eagle fans. I know you all have a leg to stand on. You guys are the second best team right now. But, until you beat Detroit, they're the best team. And right now it's shaping up. Philly's got to go to Detroit. And that's going to be a classic game. I hope the hell that happens. That is going to be an incredible NFC championship game if things line up the way they do right now.
And we'll be flying with those Eagles out to L.A. as they take care of the L.A. Rams 37-20. Saquon Barkley, I know you mentioned Derrick Henry earlier as MVP. It is Saquon Barkley that is the MVP of this season.
I disagree.
It is Saquon Barkley. Sorry to tell you.
No, because you could take Barkley off the Eagles, and they would still be good. They were good last year without Barkley. They're better with him.
Why? Then you could say the same thing about A.J. Brown. Because they lost A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and that team looked like dog water earlier in the season when they had no receivers.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley's the MVP. Saquon Barkley's the MVP.
I'm taking Henry. That's my opinion.
Why? You take Omar off that team. You got Derrick Henry. That team's – they're going to do the same thing they just did. Like you just talked about the Packers having the best run defense all of a sudden. No, it said this kid ain't throwing the football. We're going to load the box and good luck McCaffrey running the ball. That's what teams would do with freaking – Derrick Henry. If Lamar's out, they're going to load the box up and say, yeah, you're not running the ball.
Derrick Henry, though. Derrick Henry runs over people. Saquon doesn't. Saquon's got blazing speed, and he can hurdle people and all that other nonsense. But if I had to pick one running back right now, it's Derrick Henry. I'm sorry.
Not even close. Nope, not involved in the passing game.
Closer than you think.
I'm taking Saquon.
I'm the genius. What I say goes, damn it.
I don't know.
It won't matter. It won't matter because they'll give Allen the MVP because they had to give it to a quarterback, which is all bullshit, but whatever.
Probably the boring game of the week. That'd be the NFC West division lead, and that'd be the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. I've been picking the Cardinals against the Cardinals all season. I finally pick them this week in my podcast tomorrow for the fan, and egg on my face, they suck. This is why I've been waiting for the Cardinals to make me look stupid, and they finally do. Seattle wins 16-6. Boring game of the week. Your thoughts on it? Because I thought it was pretty boring when I tried tuning into it.
It was a hard watch. I tried watching because there's only 3 games on at 4 o'clock. Why? I don't know. I can't stand when the NFL does that. I don't know why they can't throw a 4th game down there. Absolute joke. Bad job by the NFL. Because when you got crap games like Seattle, Arizona, Green Bay, San Francisco, what was the third one? Denver, Vegas. I mean, that was a hard watch late Sunday night, or early Sunday evening, I should say. That was a brutal, brutal watch of football. They've got to get a 4th game in there at all times. You don't need all these 1 o'clock games. Put one down. I don't see what the big deal is. But it is what it is. Seattle and Arizona, they stink. I don't know why Geno's still quarterback. But, whatever. I don't even want to talk about it. They're one and done. Whoever wins that division's one and done. They're going to get mauled by, they play Minnesota right now. Minnesota have to go there. Minnesota at Seattle. I could see Seattle making a game of that just because Minnesota chokes in games like that.
Speaking of choking, that'd be the Chicago Bears. They lose overtime again. Another field goal kick to lose the game. Bears lose 30-27. Sam Darnold getting back on the right track for the Vikings. Your thoughts?
What a crazy ending that was. By far the game of the weekend. That was an incredible game. Getting the onside kick, kicking the field goal, only for Minnesota to come down and win the game. The story of that game was Justin Jefferson, 2 catches. My God. destroyed me in some fantasy leagues there, JJ. Come on now. No, I'm kidding. Addison had a hell of a game. What do you have? 8 for 162. Roshan Johnson stinks. They really missed Swift. I mean, he obviously had the groin problem. Caleb Williams, he had a good game. Wasn't a great game. He still has some accuracy issues. 32 for 47, 340, 2 touchdowns. Darnold, he played well. 22 for 34, 330, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones had a hell of a game. He had a fumble early on. I remember that. But he was 22 for 106, got a touchdown. But that was a hell of a game. NFC North slobber knocker. That's what that was.
Sure was indeed. Probably the shock of the week would be the Carolina Panthers taking it to the Kansas City Chiefs after a loss last week from the Chiefs. I thought they were going to come in. It's a home game for them because they took over. I don't even. Oh gosh, it's a bank. Is their field in Charlotte? They take over that stadium, and they somehow just squeak by with a late field goal to win the game against the Carolina Panthers. I know you mentioned Bryce Young earlier. He's playing a lot better lately. Carolina might be thinking Bryce Young could be the guy still. Adam Thielen finally back in the lineup for the Panthers. They lose in a tough game to the Kansas City Chiefs. Are we starting to question the Chiefs? I got to tell you, I've told folks that you might want to start questioning the Kansas City Chiefs. This team is not all that good. You have Mahomes, that's great. This team is all not that good.
They know how to win. Andy Reid knows how to win.
I've heard the same story with the Steelers. I've heard the same stories. They know how to win. I've heard the same song and dance. But then
they're not Super Bowl champions. Yes, they know how to win. You tell me they don't know how to win?
This team is different. I really don't know what this Kansas City Chiefs team is.
Yeah, they missed Pacheco, who's going to be back next week.
Oh, I know. He's going to save everything.
You're telling me Pacheco's not going to help?
Well, then you might as well call him the MVP.
I'm not calling him the MVP.
Your standard. Your standard.
No, but Pacheco's definitely going to help. I mean, Kareem Hunt's done a yeoman's effort, but he's not Pacheco. And yes, I agree, Kenny Warren. Nobody's ever said the Steelers know how to win. By the way, the Steelers don't have cheerleaders?
No.
The Steelers don't have cheerleaders?
No, we're not a sideshow like your Miami Dolphins. No, we're not.
Oh, I guess they can't find 12 girls who have teeth in their mouth in Pittsburgh. That's right.
You're funny, Phil.
Don't get mad at that, though.
You mentioned the Raiders earlier. They lose. Story of the game, Bo Nix wins. Gardner Minshew done for the season. Broken collarbone.
Bum.
So what are they playing? Desmond Ritter, I guess, going forward?
No, they're going to play O'Connell.
I think he's hurt.
Play Ritter at least. Jesus.
Terrible. Is Aiden O'Connell hurt?
No, I actually read today that he's going to be starting. I'm like, why? He sucks too. Put Ritter in there. See what you get out of him. The Raiders are another team. That's a team Cam Ward, I think, would do well at. The gunslinger, run up and down, AFC West, not much defense in that division. I could see him landing with Oakland or the Raiders, Las Vegas, and I could see him doing well there. That would be a fun team for him, not the Giants.
And we'll head to our final game of the week, and that would be the Harbaugh Bowl on Monday night. It was a nice game, 30-23 final. Ravens taking care of business on the road in LA, back-to-back LA games Sunday and Monday, which was nice. Ravens take care of business 30-23. Your thoughts? Ravens get it done.
That was a hell of a win by Baltimore. I mean, they were down early. The key to that game, I thought, was Dobbins getting hurt. He hurt his knee in the second quarter, and he never returned. Gus Edwards, he's not a running back. He's that 1 yard guy you need. That's what Gus Edwards is. And the whole dynamic of the game changed. I mean, Quentin Johnson, can you catch the damn ball? You had 3 huge drops. 3 drops. I mean, Arnie Lauer could have caught a ball at first base at one of them. I mean, come on. That's an absolute terrible job by Johnson. That killed all momentum. Yeah, but that's the Chargers for you.
That is indeed the Chargers in a nutshell. So now it is that time, everyone's favorite time of the week. That would be the only, Beat the Genius.
Beat the Genius.
So we have a new updated standings. Mike Bauer, 7-5. Ray Trimble, 16-14. Phil and me are both tied after I went 3-0 this week at 17-16. And of course, rounding out the rear, the one, the only, Karen Warren going 10-11. Kenny, got to do better there. Rounding out the rear. Phil, floor is yours to start off the week.
Well, what's the line on that Detroit game? What do you have?
Holy cow, -10.
Wow. God, that's huge.
That's a big number.
Oh, man. That's a huge number for a division game. Oh, my God. I mean, the Chiefs are -13. Oh, there's some tough games this week. I'm going to take the Bengals. They're -2.5.
I got a -3.
I think they win by 3. You have -3? All right. I'll still take Cincinnati. They're coming off a bye week. I know you say Pittsburgh does well off bye weeks, or off a division loss, but the Bengals need this game in the worst possible way. They're at home. I think they pull it out. So that's game number 1. Game number 2. How the hell are the Seahawks favored over the Jets? Jeez, I thought I was going to have an easy one there. Boy, a lot of road favorites this week.
Yes.
Man, oh, man. I can't touch the Green Bay game. As much as I think Green Bay is going to crush Miami, I can't, out of my heart, do that. I'm going to take the Cowboys. What's this, -4?
I got -3.5 Dallas.
So you got
-3.5.
All right, I'll take that. -3.5 Dallas. I'll take that. And then my last one, man, Vikings 3.5. Yeah, you know what? What the hell? I'm going to take Minnesota at home. What do you got, 3 or 3.5?
I got 3.5.
All right, I'll take the Vikings. I think they'll win by 7. I mean, Arizona no-showed last week against Seattle. I can't see them doing that against the defense of the Vikings. Although, boy, that shine's really fallen off of Brian Flores. I don't hear his name anymore. That defense has been atrocious. Screw Brian Flores.
I'm gonna start off. I'm taking the Washington Commanders -5.5. I think Tennessee had their win of the season. I think they're going back in the 2s. Washington's going to make the playoffs. I think they win at home -5.5. This week is indeed tough.
Yeah,
I don't love this week at all, by the way.
No, I don't either.
I think I'm going to – oh, my God. I can't believe I'm doing it. I think I'm going to take the Patriots +2.5 at home.
I looked at that.
I don't love it, but I think I'm going to do it.
I don't either, but Indy's going to be terrible in miserable weather conditions in New England. I actually like that pick.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots +2.5. I could see. I mean, Drake May's played well. That might have been his worst game of the season so far against the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. So, and then I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers -3.5.
You fraud! I hope Miami wins now.
Hey, I know they'd all be happy. I'm just taking it because I got to. You laid it out for me, sir. Sorry to tell you. They don't play in cold weather. It's usually a game they don't win. So we'll see. They surprised me early in the season. I picked them. I picked Buffalo early in the season to smack them, and you end up losing on that wild 61-yard field goal. So the Dolphins could be a little bit different this season. We'll see what.
I am shocked that line is that low, -3. There's some money to be made on that game. What did I do last week? I thought I went 3-0.
No, you went 2-1 last week.
2-1. What was my loss?
Kansas City.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, I took that. I loved Kansas City last week. Those frauds. John Mayer, I'm sorry. I got to put my glasses on. John complains because he sees a reflection in my eyeglasses, but I can't see a damn thing. So the hell with you, John. I don't really care. By the way, happy birthday to John Mayer. You can listen to the birthday song that Kenny Warren made for John Mayer. It's on YouTube. You can post the link, Kenny. It's a great song.
Oh, well, that wraps up another episode of the Personal Foul Podcast. Appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Can I talk about college for a second?
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
I mean, how in the hell are 1, 2, 3, 4 of the top 5 teams are in the Pig 10? And no, not Big 10, Pig 10, because Pig 10 has ruined football as far as I'm concerned. What a disgrace this is. You're going to have all these teams, and this playoff is a joke as well. Go back to 1, 2. Indiana only drops 2 spots after getting humiliated on the road. When Miami loses, they're going to drop 8 spots. I mean, this is a joke. Absolute joke. College football is disgraceful right now. I mean, you're telling me Oregon's the best team? Ohio State's number 2. I still think Texas is the best team. But, I mean, Penn State's a joke of a team. And why in the hell do we still have cupcake games this late in the year? You have these huge super conferences. They should all be playing one another. They got to get rid of these cupcake games. It's not good for the sport. College football was terrible.
I hear you. The SEC runs their mouth about how the Big Ten plays nobody early, how they play cupcakes early. No, you guys just play your cupcakes late in the season.
I mean, Georgia's playing UMass? I got to watch that? I mean, come on. That's awful. The NCAA has got to do something with that. I know they have like 0 power left, but have a shred of credibility. Just a touch, please. What a joke. Speaking of jokes, my New York Islanders, you guys want to bet? Whenever they take a lead in the third period, bet them to lose because they've done it 6 of the last 7 games. Absolute disgrace the Islanders are. Screw your Devils. Yeah, they've been playing well, but they'll fold because that's what the Devils do. And my Nets are a playoff team right now. Your Lakers still suck. Kenny Warren posted the birthday song. Thank you, Kenny Warren.
That's Karen Warren to you. But anyway, I'm Colton. That's Phil. Devils are great. Shout out to Captain, my captain, Nico Heischer with a natural hat trick. Devils first place of the Metro. Shout out to those guys. Can't wait to get to a game this year. I got to figure out when I'm getting there. But Lakers are
we should go to another Devil game.
Yeah, maybe. Went to an Islanders game last year, actually.
I know you. Although they only play 3 times now in the conference, which is an absolute joke as well. That's sickening. What the hell?
Everything's a joke to you. You should run all these sports leagues.
I should. I definitely should. I'd make a hell of a commissioner. I run my football leagues with an iron fist. The one you're in, of course. When something happens, I fix it right away. Do I not?
That's right. You do.
That's right. That's why everything's smooth. That's why I'm the genius. I'm the genius, and you're not.
I'm the genius. You're not. But anyway, I'm Colton. That's Phil. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Again, we'll be back next week. Make sure you tune in. So appreciate everyone. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like it, share it, get it out to your friends. Tell your friends, and have a great
like button. It's not hard.
Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. Appreciate everyone for listening. We'll be back again next week.
Happy Thanksgiving to all. Enjoy your Black Friday shopping. I will be drinking all weekend long. I can't wait. That's right. And yes, thank you, Stephen Trimble. I hope your daughter's doing better. Thank you for the beers at Battle River Brewery. And by the way, Colton, we should do a show there. We should do a live podcast there. That would be a lot of fun. We get all sloppy drunk and do a podcast there. Stephen Trimble said he would host.
Sounds like a no to me, but again.
Oh, you're a fraud. You fraud.
Again, I'm Colton. That's Phil. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Gobble, gobble.